Hi, I'm Cory Skimming, Product Marketing Manager with VMware Tanzu. And today I'm joined by Amit Gupta from our partner Confluent. Welcome, Amit.
Thanks, Cory. Happy to be here.
Why don't you start off by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about Confluent?
Great, happy to. So, like you said, my name is Amit. I'm on the product team here at Confluent, and excited to tell you a little bit about Confluent, our Confluent for Kubernetes offering, and our partnership with VMware Tanzu. So, Confluent, for folks who don't know, this company started back in 2014 by the folks who created Apache Kafka while they were working at LinkedIn. And so they were building this tool, this product. They thought it was maybe more powerful than just what they needed, at LinkedIn. And they thought, hey, let's take this out to the broader ecosystem at large. What Confluent does as a whole, as a company, is we are the kind of leaders behind Apache Kafka. We think Kafka is a core part of a bigger idea of data in motion. And as time has gone on, I think the world has just proved that more and more true. There's just more data, more of it is in real time, and more applications and new services are being built with this idea of the new reality that there's a lot of data and it's all moving real time. And the best customer experiences that you can build are the ones that really leverage that. So that's really what Confluent's about.
I think everyone has seen this massive influx of data that's happened, as people are more social and we have more smart devices and all of these different spectrums that are just bringing unfathomable amounts of data into systems. I'd love to get your thoughts on the impact that this amount of data and data in motion has had on how we're architecting modern applications and how Kafka plays into that.
So, you kind of hit it on the head. We've got mobile devices everywhere. You're ordering food in real time. You're ordering, shared car rides in real time. And you expect to know exactly where your food is, or your car is, and when it's going to show up. And it's all kind of a seamless experience through your phone or through a web application. And so doing all this in real time has forced a different way of building applications and thinking about applications. Not only has data grown, but all the different applications, on the front end and the back end that are creating these experiences, those have exploded as well. And so you get this kind of big chaotic mess of data silos everywhere, applications everywhere. You've got a little pilot database there. Maybe you're using a SaaS application here, and it's a big amount of complexity. This is what a lot of people may resonate with as their modern architecture, their current architecture that they have within a business. And of course, we work with a lot of large enterprises where there are multiple lines of business. And so the complexity and the difficulty of dealing with all this and providing that sort of real-time experience for your end customer applications and your business processes becomes as difficult as this slide is. Everybody's probably kind of experienced this. So, as a developer, on a team in one of these lines of businesses, you're building one application, but you've then got to figure out, hey, what's the API of this application? What's the protocol for this database? Where is the SaaS application? How do I get access to all of it? It's a big, complicated mess that's not really delivering value. It's just dealing with the complexity and the mess of the data and application landscape. Kafka can be your central nervous system, this kind of like central brain for all your data. So treat all these events that are happening, all these business events, a customer ordering something, a trade that happens, some logistical event, something gets shipped from one place to another. These are all business events in one form or another. Kafka is built around this idea of an event stream. So just put all these events into Kafka. You get this persistent queryable stream for all your data. And then this can be used to power, both front end, customer experiences, and any sort of back end operations and processing that you need to do. The idea of shifting the paradigm from data being static primarily to data being in motion primarily, that the stream of data is kind of the first class concept around which you can orient. It allows you to build these sort of real-time experiences much more seamlessly. It's not a thing you bolt on. It's something that's kind of natively there in your data architecture. But not only is it real time, but Kafka provides a persistent store for your streaming data, stores it in a sort of natively streaming format, a log format. So you can also it's not streaming data as an ephemeral thing that you just do between different points. It's this first class thing that you can query to the beginning of the stream if you want to. And Confluent starts to complete this picture by giving you more powerful tools to query this data in real time.
You'd mentioned that Confluent adds all of these great features and functionality on top of Apache Kafka. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of those?
Kafka is an open source project. It's part of the Apache Software Foundation. It's a very booming, rich ecosystem. There's a lot of interest from a lot of different organizations, and it's a really awesome open source product. But it's also, it's not enough on its own for the enterprise, and Confluent brings you that sort of complete picture. So we think of how we make data in motion kind of complete along three pillars. We talk about cloud native, complete, and everywhere. Cloud native is about, I think the cloud native philosophy really is about, I want real-time data. Just make it happen for me. Maybe I as a developer or an operator want to say, I want Kafka. I don't want to find a bunch of machines and install a bunch of stuff and tune a bunch of parameters. That's not really what I want. I want the technology exposed to me so that I can just use it and be productive. Complete is about, Kafka itself is a very powerful, bus to move data from one place to another, but you need a lot more than just the core Kafka. So one part of what we offer is a very rich ecosystem of connectors. Connectors are sort of pre-built, purpose-built tools that either pull data out from, maybe it's a SQL database or any host of data sources, or connectors that push data into a different sink. So it could be, maybe a SaaS service like Snowflake. So we have a very rich, complete ecosystem of pre-built connectors. So no matter where you're trying to pull data out of, no matter where you're trying to push it to, we've got that solution out of the box for you. You don't have to worry about building it. The data in Kafka is a pretty low-level protocol in some sense. But to really make use of that data, you need to be able to query it and process it. So we've built something called KSQL DB. And what that is gives you the power and kind of expressiveness and the familiarity of SQL on top of real time. So if you could imagine, what does streaming data look like? What does SQL querying look like? If those two things had a baby, this is what KSQL DB is. So that's a really powerful tool for developers. So I think, if you're a developer, you've got Spring, you've got KSQL, you're living in the future now when it comes to working with real-time data. And lastly, everywhere. So I think Confluent, like I said, Kafka's out there, it's open source, it's very popular. There are a lot of companies offering Kafka in different forms. Confluent is the only one that has, this complete solution, both fully managed in the cloud and self-hosted for you to run everywhere. And these three pillars, cloud native, complete, everywhere, they really tie together. So for example, this cloud native on-demand experience, we offer that in the cloud powered by Kubernetes under the hood. And we offer that to self-hosted customers powered by Kubernetes as well.
So I just want to double click on your kind of anywhere pillar that you mentioned. So obviously we see a lot of companies adopting multi-cloud, hybrid cloud strategies, and a lot of them are using Kubernetes and solutions like VMware Tanzu to, help manage that and provide kind of a global control plane and make that a seamless experience across places, wherever that may be. How do you see Confluent and VMware Tanzu really helping companies to, build and deploy their modern applications wherever they want them to be or need them to be?
I think the way I would summarize it is the Confluent and VMware Tanzu is about the modern data in motion platform running on top of the modern cloud native runtime. Kubernetes, it's this complex thing, but it's also very powerful. And what it's really strong at doing is providing a platform that enables solutions on top to automate the lifecycle of complex software. So Kafka and KSQL DB, all these things that Confluent offers, these things in themselves are complex distributed systems. All of Confluent Cloud runs on top of Confluent for Kubernetes, which runs on top of Kubernetes, obviously.
Mhm.
And that allows us to work not only across the three public clouds, but we know that a lot of companies are doing Kubernetes on-prem, they're using Kubernetes in hybrid architectures, they're using Kubernetes in multi-cloud architectures. This Confluent plus VMware Tanzu story is awesome because you got this great Tanzu Kubernetes grid, you've got Confluent for Kubernetes on top, you've got the best of both worlds kind of coming together. Not to mention, Spring and everything else that Tanzu brings to the table for developers. So you've got this really complete cloud native developer story for both applications and data. And then of course, for the operator, Tanzu brings like observability and the control plane, the orchestration of your Kubernetes environments. We orchestrate the data in motion platform on top of that. So we hope we can kind of come together and bring the solution out to customers and make their lives a lot easier and just make it fun to use all this technology and build great experiences for their customers at the end of the day.
I love that. Keep technology fun. Thanks so much, Amit, for joining us.
Happy to be here. Happy to have VMware Tanzu as a partner as well.